Hello friends, good evening again. So another Sunday and another live YouTube session. So I hope all of you doing good. Hello Shiv, good evening. So if you can hear me, just say I can hear you well, and if you can see my video, also say that you can see my video. Just going to wait for a few more minutes. Then we can start. Probably we'll wait for 1 minute and then we can start. So I see we have you guys already waiting who have joined us. Hey Shivam, hey Tabitha, good evening. Thanks for joining again on a Sunday evening. So remember, we have every Sunday at 8 o'clock, Trendline Investor is going to speak with you guys. We will clarify questions, we'll take your questions, and we'll go through them. Okay, so I think, hey Shankar, I think let's get started. Now, before we start, I'm sure most of you know about the Trade with Trendline Investor series. So this is a very new series, I think probably one of its kind on the Twitter group, on Twitter. I'm just going to... so yes, it's one of the unique initiatives that I've taken, and probably no one else has taken this initiative on Twitter. But primary goal here is to ensure that you are learning about the most important thing in markets, which is risk management, right? So that's going to be my pure focus, or the only focus that I'm going to have when I speak about when I speak on Trade with Trendline Investor series. So we already hit a couple of stop losses, but we have a very good trade which is on, and we have 30% of our money allocated to that trade. So I'm sure it's going to pick up pace, and we are going to have a good learning in the coming weeks and coming months. So don't forget, this is the only place where you're going to learn real-time trading free of cost, no charges whatsoever. And apart from this, we also share a newsletter every week. So if you want to look at all the stocks listed, all the stocks discussed in the newsletter till now, then we have everything listed in this sheet here. It is available on my Twitter link. So it is available in the newsletter as well. So we have recommended 40 stocks, including 4 stocks this week. And if you see, we have had some really good performances in the first few stocks. So if you take the first 20 stocks till now, let's say you had a portfolio of 20 stocks, and if you invested based on my newsletter recommendations, your portfolio would already be up around 10.8%. And if you followed the strategy that I discussed today on my newsletter, then probably you would be up even a little more, because we allocate more money to stocks which are performing, right? So we already had one stock which is about 50%, Kitex. JK Lakshmi is up 40%. Then we had FinCables up 16%. Jindal Poly up 18%, ICIL 31%, Nucleus and 18%. So it is just around, we also have the holding period here. So if you see, we had just 2 months, we had a good, we started 2 months back, so it's already up, around 10% on an average. So if you're invested in the top 20 stocks, your portfolio would be up 10%, free of cost, no charges whatsoever again. So now let's jump into the newsletter for today. So we had a fantastic week last week, and I think a lot of people were worried when we started off on Monday last week. So we had 2 massive gap downs, and then we had 2 more days where we had good green candles. Probably not a good green candle on Friday, but we did close the week very well. Now, if you see, this is actually a hammer candle, and we already had a kind of, this zone is the zone that we're going to watch out for. So this zone over here is proving to be a very strong demand zone, and markets haven't fallen that much. Now this week, after this big big green week, we are having just sideways movement. So nothing to worry about in markets yet. If you're holding on to positions, continue to hold on to your positions. Don't listen to people who are bearish on Twitter. Most of the Twitter traders are short-term traders, and they have bearish views, and they try to create fear and all that. But don't listen to all that, and focus on the long-term picture always. Especially for people like us who are mostly into cash stocks, who are mostly investing and doing positional trades. It's very important to keep your focus and to stay tuned to the overall long-term trend and not focus on very short-term trends. That's where most of us lose. But otherwise, I've clearly mentioned why we are good as of this week. we had a beautiful hammer candle which formed on the weekly charts, and the primary trend line support still looks very strong, right? So if you go to the log charts, you will see that the primary trend line support is still very good, and we reversed exactly from this trend line support. So whenever we touch the trend line support, we have good moves the following 2 weeks, and probably we are also going to have a good move in the coming month. So August is going to probably be a very good month for short-term traders, positional traders, investors, for everyone. But otherwise, let's move on to the sector to watch out for. The sector to watch out for is CNX Auto. Now, the reason here, I've clearly given the reason why, because we are seeing that auto index is coming towards that trend line support over here. Now this is a log chart in case you want to know. So we are coming around close to that trend line, and the move is kind of, last 3 days, it's kind of within the same candle now. If you see, they're almost inside bars. So Monday or Tuesday, if we have a good reversal, then probably that's the last point. And we are going to reverse in the auto index soon. So if you look at, if you want to look at stocks, you can look at stocks like Maruti or any other stocks. Maruti is also available right around the trend line support. And also this upper trend line is the symmetrical triangle pattern. And if you break out of this pattern, then probably we're going to see very good highs or new highs in the auto index also, right? So that's the point about the auto index, or the sector to watch out for in the coming weeks. Now, this sector to watch out for is not just for next week. It probably could turn out, it will work well even in the coming weeks ahead. So top 4 stock picks for this week. I'm sure most of you already read it. If you haven't, then Jindal Stainless Steel has given a beautiful 12-year breakout, and the chart looks fantastic. There's really nothing to worry about. Amazing volumes, and we also had this massive initiative from the government. Had announced some initiative last week, because of which we had a good closing in Jindal Steel. So if you think that this stock is actually already gone up so much, do not think about this. This is a 12-year breakout, which means after 12 years, most of the traders in this, or most of the investors in the stock, are in profits, and we are going to go higher from here. And I've clearly given my targets here. So you can see I have targets of 150. Sorry, I've given targets of 200, 300 in this one. Next one is GlaxoSmithKline Pharmaceuticals. Now this is a beautiful chart, a proper symmetrical triangle on the monthly charts. Now, whenever I see a symmetrical triangle on the monthly charts, that is a very, very good setup, a low risk setup. Now, in this case, if you see, our risk is hardly anything. So we have 100 rupees risk. Right now, the stock is trading at around 1600 odd levels. And it is available at just 110 rupees risk. That's hardly 7-8% risk, but the returns, we're going to look at probably 50-60 returns immediately in the next few months. So GlaxoSmithKline is a beautiful setup in the pharma space. It is MNC stock, very good fundamentals. I've given everything here. Do read about it, and you'll see that the operating margins have risen since 2017. So again, another setup, beautiful setup. The third one is again from the pharma space, Suven Pharma. Now, Suven Pharma is actually, it was a subsidiary of Suven, the other one, and then they had to split it in 2019, and since then the stock was separated, and then the stock had a beautiful run, and for the last 7 months it is just consolidating. And if you see this month or this week, the stock has touched the trendline support, and it is just reversed from the trendline support. So again, the risk is not much. The stock is trading around 500 levels, stop loss is 450. You can also consider my advice or my stock picks even for swing trades or positional trades if the stop loss is less than 10%, right? So it's still fine to consider that for short-term trades. VIP Industries, again, a beautiful setup. Stop loss is 370. Stock is available around 410. Again, a beautiful 10% stop loss. And if you see, again, we are kind of contracting here, and this is a long-term beautiful channel. Now, most of you might say that the stock fundamentally has not done well in the last year, but if you keep aside last year, then the stock has been phenomenal in terms of the financials, and I don't see any problem in the stock performing from here, right? Also, volumes have picked up slightly, not still good, but I feel that the stock is going to break out soon, and we're going to head higher. So these are the 4 stocks that I've discussed this week. But the most interesting part is the CCI based investment strategy. Now, most of you know about the CCI indicator that I use in most of my posts that I've discussed till now. And here I've discussed everything that you need, which stock to select, how to select the stock, what is the scanner I use, how much to buy, what to buy, when to pyramid, and when to exit. I've given a clear-cut strategy. You don't have to rely on anyone, okay, for this for investments, to be honest. It is a very simple game. You just have to be disciplined and follow this strategy, very disciplined, in a very structured way, and I'm sure you'll get many stocks which can give you good returns. But we're already in a massive bull run already, so there might be many stocks which are already going up. But if you have any stocks you're holding from your lower levels, then you can follow the strategy for exit. So I've explained each and everything here in this charts over here, so you can go through them, and if you have any doubts, ask them today in this session, or you can post on Twitter and ask me on Twitter as well. So yeah, so these are the things that I wanted to cover, and I wanted to give you more time this week because last time I took more time on the newsletter. So I'm stopping here in the newsletter. I hope you enjoyed this blog. If you did enjoy it, just let me know in Twitter about your feedback and whether it's helping you to understand about markets. Otherwise, we can now switch on to stocks. So if you have any questions related to stocks, or if you have any questions related to markets, do let me know, and I'm going to answer them starting right now. Okay, so I see a lot of guys who have joined, so 24 people with us till now. Thanks guys, everyone, for joining. But let's start with the questions. It's impossible to invest in 40 stocks, Rudra Patra was saying. Yeah, I totally agree. That's why I've clearly given indications in the FAQs to stop at 20 stocks once you invest in 20 stocks. And also, so if you have not gone through the FAQs, please go through this, guys. I've clearly mentioned you should stop once you reach 20 stocks and don't allocate more than 5%. Now, I am giving every week 4 stocks because I want to help people who are new to markets, who are new to my newsletter, who have not invested already, who have missed their past stocks, like stocks up 40%, 50%. Now, I'm giving these stock ideas for them and not for people who are already invested in markets. So yes, so that's my advice. But otherwise, let's jump into the questions. For now, I'm just going to open the Q&A session. Yeah, what's my view on advanced enzymes? So I think advanced enzymes, we discussed this stock in the Trade with Trendline Investor series. It was as part of a watch list. Now, stock is in a beautiful uptrend, right? So if you see, since 2016, it was in a massive downtrend, and since then it has kind of come out of the downtrend, and it is right now trading in uptrend, right? So the downtrend is complete, and if you see, we had 2 bearish lines here. So this was the short-term bearish line, and this was a long-term bearish line. So we did break out from here, and that was in fact inverted hedge and shoulders breakout around here. And since then we are going up. The trend is up. There's no nothing to worry. Now, if you're a short-term trader, your stop loss can be even around 390. But right now, what's happening here is that the stock is kind of consolidating around this area, right? So if you see here, it's right around this trend line support here, and the last 3 days forming kind of inside bars. So I think that we are done, and this stock should probably head higher this week or probably next week. Maybe give it a couple of more days or weeks, and it should head higher. So that's the view on advanced enzymes. So there's nothing to worry about the stock. Fundamentally, it's an excellent company. You don't have to really be worried if you're holding advanced enzymes. So that's my view on advanced enzymes. So Arpit, I hope that helped you. Hey Ganesh, Vallabh asks a question: should I directly take these trades tomorrow, or allocate small amount and average out if price drops a little? Now, see, you can do it multiple ways, right? So the stocks that I've given today, you can directly allocate 5% of the capital tomorrow because the stop loss is hardly 10%. So even if the stock goes in 10% and we allocate 5%, we'll hardly lose 0.5% of our capital. So there's nothing, you don't have to really, do it in dips. Just directly allocate 5%, keep a stop loss, and just ride the trend. That's all. Otherwise, I don't have any strategy. Don't complicate markets. Just keep it always simple, and that would work. So Yukal Anbu has a question. Yukal Fuel bought at 197. Your views? Yes, you can look at Yukal charts. Okay, I'm just going to the first thing. If you want to analyze stocks, the first thing you have to do is go to the weekly time frame or the monthly time frame and see what's happening with the stock, right? So if you see the stock, if you go to the monthly time frame, the stock is going sideways, right? So it's not gone basically anywhere. So I usually tend to avoid such stocks. So there is a major resistance around 390. Then there is another resistance around here. Okay. Then there is probably here. right? So right now we are out of this resistance, so probably we're heading to 341, but I would not really allocate money to stocks which haven't gone anywhere in the last many years. Like for example, I also spoke about Jindal Steel. It has given a 12-year breakout. Now the reason why I'm considering Jindal Steel now is that because it has given a very strong breakout and it is out of this range, 12-year range. Now that's why I've given Jindal Steel as a recommendation. But UCL short term looks good. So it is out of a downtrend here, and then it is an uptrend now, a short term uptrend. And if you go to the daily charts, it is still, forming higher lows. So there's nothing wrong with UCL systems. So you can hold on to it. Probably keep this week's stop as a low if you are a short-term trader. If you're an investor, probably, you have to keep a stop loss, around here, around 126, right? So that's my view on UCL systems. So I hope, Anbu, that helped you. View on Castrol, Engineers India, Railtel. Castrol. Yeah, so Castrol again is in a downtrend for now, but it has broken out last week with volumes. It has given a breakout last week, but there is also another major trend line, right? So this is another major bearish trend line. So we might see it head to 178, 170 levels in the short run or in the next few weeks. But right now it is, it has given a short-term breakout, and it is right now here, around here. It's a very short-term trend line, so I not really be worried. But short-term trend is right now down, and we should probably hold this. The stock should not go below this level. So continue holding Castrol. There's no problem, but it needs to cross 170, 180 levels for the long-term trend to continue. Okay, so that's my view. But the breakout has happened. So we have seen a breakout. So let's see if we get 180 levels. 170, 180 is the target, and above that probably we can see more upside. But here this is a major resistance, right? So 170, 180 is where I see some major resistance. Now hold on with the trailing stop loss, and then we might get higher levels. Okay, so Engineers India, again, yeah, it's completely you see there is a major downtrend again here. Yeah, the stock is not really having any momentum, but probably, I'm not sure. Just let's look at the long-term trend. Yeah, again, see, since 2010 it's just been going sideways, right? And there's a major support here which it has kind of reversed from now. So probably if you're holding, you can continue to hold, but again, as I said, I would not be investing in stocks where there is no momentum. Now there is a major resistance here, there's a major support here. So 200 is something that you might get to this bull run. I have no clue as of now, but you should probably expect a reversal this week or next week from this trend line over here. Okay, then probably we can head higher. But again, just before investing, don't buy stocks just because they are so cheap. It doesn't make sense really. If you want to make money, you want to be in stocks which are moving strong or which has a very strong fundamental story. Otherwise, please don't invest in such stocks. Railtel, I think Railtel is having a short-term uptrend since it listed. So I'm just going to remove this. So it is in a beautiful uptrend, right? And there's a strong support right now around here, and you can continue to hold Railtel, no problem. The stock looks good. Okay, so that's my view on Railtel. Shivam is asking a question on, so Harish, I hope that helped. Shivam is asking a question on HCL. So HCL was I spoke about this a few weeks back. It did look good, but the stock is just consolidating right now, right? So this is a long-term downtrend that I spoke about sometime back on Twitter. It is kind of consolidating around the area. This week we had a good doji. So the downtrend pausing, I feel, this week. So I'm just going to show you this. So this area is kind of over probably, and we should see probably some more highs. This or unboosted to right. Okay, so that Trendline series keep also problems with newbie markets like me. Hello, just you can hear me, but otherwise I think I'm going to take 2 more questions. Oh, okay, my it's not responding anymore. Guys, I'm really sorry. I think we'll have to finish session. Okay, I think I have to close really. I am restricting my system. So, don't go answer. Okay, then the system is subscribed. I poll about is it the code and share. Yes, so people to catch bottom the tops. Basically, is that perfect? But I think in news on markets when it is facing high, there is a market there's no effect. You cannot exit instantly. Every you not exit at the bottom, at the top, or right at the bottom. So it's really important. There's no perfect. So if the community there is perfect, there is perfect. Follow swing high, swing start, or you can follow and probably have to stay in the. Still you have good, right? If you can be now.